Welcome back. eSIM Studios podcast live stream episode number 72. Now, if you're watching this live or catching a replay, a few things might look a little different. This is going to be the eSIM Studios live stream for the last time. No, we're not ending any content. We're not ending any live streams. I'm simply changing the name of the channel. I know it's a little risky, but trust me, it's going to look badass. I have a huge, grand plan, right? So you can tell I'm going to roll with the eSIM Studios for a little while during the transition phase. But it's going to transition into, instead of eSIM Studios, we're going to be Tech Studios. Branding looks a lot cleaner. Colors, white and black, look really nice. And we are developing a new application that will be available to download for iOS and for the Google Play Store. I've already got the branding, I've already got the name, Tech Studios. I've already got the website, I've already got the domain name, I'm already building it out, it's almost completely done. Obviously had a little road bump here in the last, should have had it done already, but I had a road bump here with my mother passing away, probably just a couple of days ago, but it's all good. So yes, moving forward here on out, it's going to be Tech Studios. So you'll see me, I think I have most everything changed over, all the links, all the hashtags, all the @. There may be one or two missing, but tomorrow I'm going to review everything, make sure everything's changed over. So I do have my picture in the YouTube channel avatar. So it'll say Tech Studios, but you'll see my face under it. Same thing with Instagram. I'm changing Instagram over. I know we have a lot of followers there, so that's going to be Tech Studios as well on Instagram, and you'll see the Tech Studios branding. I got some lint. You'll see the Tech Studios logo and branding, and then you'll see my face under it, just so you know you're on the right channel. Because that's one risky thing about. It's very risky. Especially for an established channel. You can do it when you don't have that many followers. Nobody really cares. But when you do it and you're already established, it's very, very risky. And I chose to take that risk because we have a bunch of stuff that I'm developing in the background that's going to basically tie into each other. So I have a big master plan in the back of my head. I have goals set out that we are going to achieve, and this is part of it. To tie in an application, to tie in the channel, to tie in the everybody from YouTube, to tie in everybody from Instagram with the application, I think is going to be ultimately a success. Another thing with eSIM, right? It got popular because iPhone switched to eSIM only with iPhone 14, and they're going to be sticking with eSIM only moving forward. But I was doing some research and some analytics. The term, just the term tech, will allow us to reach more people simply just by searching on Google, searching on podcast platforms. If you want to listen to this podcast on Spotify, it's available. Apple Podcasts, it's available. YouTube Music is available. Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, it's available. Just the simple term tech, if you put that in the search term, pulls up exponentially better results for me, myself, the channel, the application on the Google Play Store, on the Apple App Store. If you search tech instead of eSIM, it pulls much greater results. So that's why, another one of the reasons why I think I'm making the name change, right? So that explains a large part of why I'm doing that now. I've had it in the back of my mind. I've had a big plan for the last couple months, and the app's taken a little longer than expected, but I had issues with my mom in the hospital, and obviously she just passed away a couple days ago, so that kind of delayed things a little bit. But today I do have to, I'm live streaming early because this afternoon I have to take care of some stuff with her funeral and blah blah, stuff like that. So we're live streaming early today. We did the name change today. If you're just joining us, I'm switching the channel from eSIM Studios to Tech Studios, and I did that because we're going to tie in an application, a brand new application, iOS and Android app. Basically two new websites. I'm going to do a blog and a regular website. So, and that's all tied in together. YouTube, Instagram, application, and these two new sites, all Tech Studios. So you'll see as time goes on, you'll see how everything ties in. And once we launch the app, we'll live stream and download it when it's available, and I'll walk you through everything. So it's almost done. It looks really cool. It looks really cool. It looks badass. So just wanted to give everybody an update. I know you might be seeing when somebody does change their name, or their avatar, or their channel name, kind of catches everybody off guard, because I know that's happened to me in the past with people that I follow. I'm like, what? Who is this? I'm like, oh yeah. So in my picture, channel picture for YouTube, I didn't want to put my face on there, but I still stuck my face on there just so you can be like, oh yeah, it's that guy. So, hey, what's going on? Thank you for joining us. Got some good nothing news today. Yes, early. Yeah, I'm not sure how much you caught, but this afternoon I have to make some arrangements for my mom, and I actually have to write the obituary, which is kind of weird, but it is what it is. So, I'm not actually gonna. I'm gonna. Is this bad? I'm gonna use AI. I'm gonna use another one of our big stories. I'm actually gonna use a new AI system to write her obituary. Is that bad, or is that smart? I mean, it writes it up for you and just fill in the little details, and voila. So, yeah, whatever. Anyways, yes, we're live streaming early today because I got family stuff to attend to later this afternoon. That's funny you said that. As soon as you said you were going to write her obituary, I was going to mention that. Yes. Yeah, because my dad, what was it? Sunday. What's today? Tuesday? Sunday, or I can't remember. Sunday or Monday. We're all trying to help him out, so he doesn't have, has to do everything. So he looked at me. He knows I'm a good writer. I'm a very good writer as far as English and just like writing. I actually wanted to be a sports writer when I was younger. So I write very well. But it's so easy. It's so easy. And I find that kind of hard because there's so much to talk about. It's almost an information overload where you're like, she's lived 64 years, all sorts of stuff, right? So I'm like, and then, get this, the newspaper here in San Antonio charges for, where do I have the piece of paper? I don't, I think it's in the other room. For 200 words or less, $500 a day. $500. And if you go up, and then I think over 250 words, $850. Holy shit. That's why I need help to condense everything to keep the price down. It is expensive. What's going on, E Black? I appreciate you joining us. Yeah, I was live stream a little early today. Have some funeral arrangements and stuff I gotta help my dad out with. Yeah. Yo, when I saw those prices, and that's for one day. I thought they were joking, but apparently not. So, everybody that won routers and whatever else we had giveaways, I think, what was it, late last week? I shipped them out yesterday. I was running some errands for my dad yesterday, and I had those in the car. So if you want a router or whatever you want here, they're on the way. Yeah, I do too. I have all sorts of family in town. It's all good. I'll get with you. I'll get with you later. I know you're busy. I'm busy too. Doing all this funeral stuff for my mom. So I'll get with you. No worries. Okay. So we got past the changing the channel name. Again, I know it's a little risky, but I have a huge plan. Applications that are almost complete, websites that are almost complete, and everything is going to tie in together. Instagram, YouTube, applications, websites, they're all going to tie in together. So I know it's risky, but I think ultimate grand scheme of things, it's a good thing, and I think it will help expand the channel. I did, again, I'm not going to repeat, but analytics, just the name Tech Studios garners so much more results in search engines, on YouTube, on all sorts of stuff, right? More than the term eSIM did for our eSIM studios. So it'll be a good thing. Trust me, it'll be a good thing. So let me grab some water real quick. And speaking of AI, I wanted to show everybody this. It's so cool. Hang on. All right, so as I was mentioning, I'm going to use AI to help write my mom's obituary, right? Which, I don't know. I don't care. She doesn't care. She's not here. And I asked the family, and they don't care. So I'm like, well, shit, I'm going to do it. Plus, I got to keep it under like 2. Well, I don't have to. I was told that I can put it whatever word count I want, but $800 and then it goes up from there. Right, and then if you pass 500 words, it's like over $1,000 for the San Antonio Express News. It is insane. Let me show you what Meta just came out with. It is very, very cool. This is, and I'm going to explain how this is going to change the game when it comes to AI, and how this can potentially not destroy, because Apple has a stronghold on their products and their customers, but how it could potentially be a game changer in competition versus the Apple Vision Pro. Let me pull up. So Meta just released, let me go to their website. So Meta released a new model, their new AI model, right? It is the Llama. Can you see me? Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's the, I don't know, weird name. And actually, I didn't even know this was released until a few days ago. This is the third iteration, so like third generation of their Llama AI model, similar to ChatGPT, right? So it's a artificial intelligence entity that Meta started a few years ago, that Mark Zuckerberg, I don't know, spearheaded this department, right? To be a competitor of a ChatGPT. And I was messing around with it earlier, yesterday, today. Very cool. It's actually, I kind of prefer it it is more advanced, right? So I was watching this interview with Mark. Let me pull up. I'm not going to play the interview, but I'm going to show you, and I'll link it in the channel description here. Here, once we're done, give me a second. I was watching this interview with him, and I'm not his biggest fan. But look, I will give credit when credit is due. I think what they're doing with this is phenomenal. I think, as I mentioned, I think it's a game changer. And the reason why it is a game changer is because the operating system, what it's based on, is going to be open sourced, which is not common in the tech world / AI world. If you get a learning model, AI model, you basically want to hang on to the source code for dear life. Because if and when it gets popular, it gets bigger, you can essentially, Apple, you can essentially sell it for millions, potentially billions of dollars. Look at what Apple's doing. They last year, in the year 2023, they purchased more AI startup companies than any other tech company in the world. And that's a perfect example. And now those are all closed source, right? So the source code, how it operates, is all closed source, meaning it's basically like a secret. You and I cannot go out and get the source code and build upon that model, right? So what Facebook is doing is the opposite. What Facebook is doing is, let me go back here. Facebook is making it open sourced. Now, let me just show you this interview. Again, I'm not going to play it. Oh, so here's the new channel branding that we're going to roll with. And again, it's going to tie into everything. Trust me, I know it's risky to change your name and stuff, and I've debated this for weeks, and I think this is the best thing moving forward. So where is this interview? It's with an Indian guy. Anyways, I'll link it in the description. It's about an hour and a half long. And wait, let me make sure. Is it Zuckerberg or Zuckerberger? I think it's Zuckerberg. Yeah, it shows you how much I don't pay attention to Facebook or Meta. Although I think they have something on their hands here. Well, just moving, Zuckerberg, right? God damn it. Yeah, Zuckerberg, sorry. So moving forward, and it's very interesting. So it's about and again, I'll link it in the description below. I don't want to waste time looking for it, but he describes very open, actually one of the more open interviews I think he could have been, as far as where the process in models 1 and 2. And again, it's like it's like a ChatGPT, except this is way more advanced. I was messing around with it yesterday and this morning. It's actually really cool. You can go to Meta. You can play with it right now. Go to meta.ai. So we'll do that right now. This is what it's like. So this is their model. It gives you very accurate answers. Like I said, I'm gonna write my mom's obituary on here. Don't tell anybody. So you know what? Let me give this a test. Why not? So, very cool. Now, again, it's going to be open sourced. Now, does that sound familiar? How does Apple come into the wraps with this? Well, excuse me. Let me take a step back. Meta is implementing this Llama Gen 3 AI model into their VR goggles, right? Or goggles. Damn it, my brain is all over the place. What is the name of their Meta VR? What do they call them? Yeah, Meta VR. So this basically is a competitor of the new Apple Vision Pro. And what Meta is doing is they're going to implement this new Llama 3 into the merge it into the operating system of the, I guess, Quest 3 or upcoming Quest 4. It's going to be open sourced. So it's basically going to be the Android versus iPhone whole app thing, right? The whole Android is open sourced. Anybody can, myself, develop an app if you want to. The code is there for you to dissect, add to, subtract, play around with, and develop as you please. Apple software, closed source. You cannot, and look, even as a developer, even developing an iOS app like myself, you don't get the full source code. You just get tools to develop the app, and that's it. You really don't get the full scope of the operating system. It's kind of hard to explain, and it took a while for me to understand it, but it's not open sourced. It's closed sourced. Now, this could potentially, I believe this is a big deal. And that's what Mark Zuckerberg was saying on the interview. And I completely agree with him. Now, he didn't say we're going to be the Android he did not say we're going to be the Android of the VR segment versus Apple. He was very, very used choice words when explaining this, but it will create tons of cool apps. You and I can go get the source code right now and start developing. This opens the door. Now, this is not only this operating system, it's not only in these apps, right? Because the developers take this and develop apps on it for VR. And again, that's one of the downsides of the Apple Vision Pro, is there is literally only a handful of applications you can use on the Apple Vision Pro. And they are in such a legal battle, Apple is, with the developers at the moment, that nobody wants to develop apps for Apple, because they're taking so much of the cut, so much of your revenue, so much of your profit. I believe it's 40%. So if you're a developer for iOS, your app makes $100, Apple takes $40 of that, and then you take the remaining 60, and then if you have a staff, you got to pay your staff, you got to pay taxes. So it's almost not worth it. And there is a huge battle behind the scenes with Apple and developers banging their heads together. So Meta comes out with this new AI model. There's these new head units for VR, and they're going to say, hey, come over here. Ours is open sourced. Now Meta's not only going to put this on their headset, they're going to make this available for any headset, any VR headset in the world can run this software, this open source new Meta software with this Llama 3 implemented. Give me a second. I got to call my dad's calling me. Hang on one second. Okay, so again, I apologize. As I was saying, this is cool because it's going to be now in the VR world, in the AI world. Again, this is going to set up to be a battle for years to come, like Android, which is open sourced, right? Because you can take an Android operating system and put it on a nothing phone. You can take an Android operating system, which is open source, customize it, and put it on a Samsung. Well, that's what Meta is going to do with this. I think I explained it, but that's what Meta is going to do with this new Llama. It's a weird name, Llama 3 AI, but they're going to implement it open source for any VR headset, not just the Meta Quest 3. Very cool. They were going through all the numbers. They were going, and another cool thing is, their data centers have to. Now, this is real time too. It's actually really cool. You know how a lot of this AI stuff, you can type in like a image you want to create, right, from a request or a command, and then you'll hit enter, and then it takes, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 seconds, and it'll spit back a image of whatever you described. This is so fast and so accurate. It actually builds the image as you type. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy fast. And what they're doing that nobody else is doing at their data centers, the whole GPU shortage maybe a few years ago. Remember when all the GPUs were being purchased and it was hard to get a hold of GPUs? Well, it wasn't just for us or the gamers. That was for Meta, for the world's biggest companies. Simply could not get their hands on GPUs to run these data centers in real time. So what they did 2 or 3 years ago is they, going through the shortage, not being able to get their hands on these high-powered GPUs. It's probably not the GPUs that we're using. It's probably the jumbo jet GPUs. But Meta, and I thought it was a very, very smart business move. And again, I'm not a fan of his, but I am an honest person, so I will give credit when it's due. Just like Apple, I normally troll them, but if they do something good, I'll admit it. Going through the shortage, Meta started developing their own GPUs. I thought, wow. Yeah, they started constructing, manufacturing, designing, building their own GPUs, not for sale, but for them to use in their own data centers. And again, going back to Google and why this Pixel 10 is going to be so big is it will be their first CPU built from the ground up. Total control over everything. It helps these companies, and for them, and it took that long. It took 2 to 3 years for them to implement, design, test, manufacture, and then push these out to the data centers and plug them in. It took 2 or 3 years. Look, he said they just got, our really a nice set or complete data centers just a few months ago to launch this. So it takes that long just to, they're on a massive scale. And when you're a company that's got billions upon billions of dollars in revenue coming in, you can, it's easier to go to your board members or your shareholders and say, hey, we need to do this, and explain why. But normally not a fan of his, but I would like to applaud him because I believe this is going to change the game. Now, I encourage y'all to go test it out. It's very cool. Actually, where am I at? Right here. I encourage y'all to check this out. Very cool. Again, real-time image creation as you type. It's actually, I guess it's probably one of the better ones I've ever used right now. Right? It's ever evolving and ever changing. And they said Llama 4, which is their 4th generation of their AI model, which is similar to Google's Gemini. Damn it, I just activated all my devices. Gemini is getting better, right? When it first came out, what was it, Bard? I hated it. It sucked. Just didn't like the layout. I wasn't into it. It's coming around on me now that it's Gemini, and Gemini, I think, 2 is coming out. So We're just now getting into the AI race and where this is going to go. I think Meta's going to kill it. As you can see, their Meta VR or AR, whatever you want to call it, it's only what, 500. I say only $500. When you compare that to Apple's Vision Pro, which is what, four grand, I think, after taxes. It's not even going to be. It's not even going to be. Question in my mind. Plus the app. When you have an open source project like this, there's so many developers that are going to develop so many cool apps and uses for this compared to Apple, where I shouldn't say nobody, very, very few developers want to make apps for Apple because they're so money hungry and they take a huge chunk of your revenue. So I guarantee you, a large majority of those developers are just gonna move over here. I'm sure they already have. I personally think the name eSIM is a really unique. It would catch people's ears, similar to how MKBHD does. You're probably right that the algorithm would favor some specific words instead. Yeah, I went through all that. I did a lot of research. And it does, and it is catchy, and it will stick in the minds of viewers, right? Because you don't hear it all the time, and if you do, it's associated to an eSIM in your phone or iPhone, right? But upon doing the research and the analytics, I've looked at all the numbers. Just that simple 4-letter word, tech, puts you in a lot more search results than eSIM does. It's just a fact. Now, MKBHD, he's in a very rare spot where he could change his name to shit eater and and still get millions and millions of views. He's at such a high level that it doesn't matter what, you know what I'm saying. But at the beginning, you might be right. He's had that channel name forever. It was a little risky for me. I agree, but again, wait, give me. I promise you, I got a bunch of cool stuff, and it's all gonna tie together, right? So I have applications, websites, that are all gonna tie in together. So, and it does make a difference. So, I'm gonna. But here's that's one of the risks you take is you might lose some viewers, right? Or some people that don't pay that close attention. But I have a big plan, and it's a risk. It's a risk. I agree, but I think overall, right? Like maybe in the next month or so, it may negatively affect me or the channel. But I think a year from now, I think it'll show its benefits, right? I think it'll pay off in the long run. This time next year, we should be over 100,000 subscribers, and hopefully on the way to bigger and better things. Well, not better things. We're doing cool stuff right now, but get more phones sent to us and more stuff to review. And that lies on me too. Like I got to step it up. I know I've been busy with family stuff, but I got a bunch of people reaching out wanting to do reviews, sponsorship, all this stuff. So I need to upload more. I love live streaming, especially in the tech sector. Nobody does it really. So I do like live streaming, but it is a big risk. Let me see what I can show you. Hang on, and then we'll get to the nothing news. Okay, hang on. Let's see. What am I working on? Where is it at? That's the other thing. I have so many accounts and Gmail addresses. I can't remember where everything is. So here is, and I'm switching this over. It may take a day or two to switch all the icons, all the avatars, and I think y'all are familiar with this one, right? I have this right here. Where the hell is it? So I have this. That was originally the blog, eSIMstudios.com, and brand changing this over, techstudios.blog. And I already purchased all the domains, and we got eSIMs. See, got me. Techstudios.app. Let me show you that real quick. Let me show you the application real quick. Where the hell am I? I think it's over here. Hang on. Let me move this over here. Sorry, I gotta move stuff around on my home screen. Big blank screen right there. Well, I gotta do all my 2FA and stuff. I'll probably show it to y'all. Hang on, if I can't pull it up here, because my 2FA, my little link is in the other room. I was gonna say I might just show it tomorrow, but if it's too much of a hassle. So that's one app, and why can't I get into the other? I think I got to get the 2FA keyword here. Let's see. Hang on. I have so many passwords, so many logins. I forget. I have a big where I keep all my passwords, but all right. So let me show this to y'all. So this is the app that I'm working on. Remove. Let me add. You have to share the screen. Window. Sorry guys. We'll get right back on it. So look, here we go. So this is where you can tell. If you look at the very top of the screen, this is the app in a preview mode. Tech Studios. You can tell that's why I'm kind of merging everything together. Better for when people search on the App Store. People search for tech news. Having the name eSIM does not pull good results. It just doesn't. So I'm trying to tie the YouTube channel in with the app, right? So we can, everybody that views the channel, I'll send over there. It's going to be free. I'm not going to charge anything. Now, you don't see many articles here, right? News articles, because it's content I have to fill in, right? But you're going to have, you can sign in and be a member. We're going to have a form on there. So you'll have your profile here. You have all tech news in very first section, which I need to fill in the content. We're going to have all Android news. That was a test article. And down the list, all Apple, we're going to put them in sections. Deals where, hey, there's a Samsung S24 Ultra is off $300, deals here. We're going to have the podcast audio form here. We're going to have this YouTube channel here. Let me move this right quick. There we go. We're going to have the YouTube channel right here. And any stories, deals that you see that you want to save, any podcast episode you're going to listen to later, you can download it, you can save it, or you can find everything on here. You'll be able to bookmark and save. So you'll find that there. And if you're looking for something, you can simply search for it. And then if you need to get in contact with me, yes, it'll be a real contact. And then settings right here. Very cool. Taken a little longer than expected, but again, had some, unexpected events pop up. But you can link and put all your content on the right, pair it up here on the left. It's actually really cool. So I'm doing this one right here. And then I'm also doing another one. Right here. Now, this is a throwaway article, a test article, but the same thing for my other YouTube channel, right? Chief Studios, hence the Studios moniker, I guess, but same simple layout. So we're gonna do 2 of these suckers, and it's gonna be cool. So the framework, the foundation is already set. I just gotta fill in the content and get it rolling. So very, very close. And as you can tell, once I'm done, simply go over here and push it out. Right? It'll be a progressive web app, meaning it'll be an app. It'll be a website that when you go to it, it basically acts like an application on your phone. Progressive web app, or you'll be able to download it Android and or iOS. So. We'll obviously have an announcement when those are ready to roll, but very cool and very fun. I love doing this stuff, so I wish I could do more of it. I just don't have time. But nothing news. I was thinking about this the other day, right? So I was like, I know there's got to be some Nothing Phone 3 news sometime soon. Right around the corner, because the Nothing Phone 2 came out I think in July of last year. I think it was July 7th, if I can remember right, because I remember that day like it was yesterday, jumping on there and ordering one. Now this year I think they're going to send me one, but I'm not sure. But it looks like we have some news in regards to these specs, right? So let's see what we got. Now, normally, in the future, we will pull news from our website, but today, running behind, got some other stuff to do, so I'm pulling news from another online publication, but it's all good. But in the future, we'll be pulling everything from our own website, so tie everything in together. That's the plan. So check this out. We finally got, now it's not like big news, because we knew that they were going to make a Nothing Phone 3, right? I mean, there's no reason for them not to make a Phone 3. The Phone 2 was a smash hit. Not at the beginning, and I dogged them for what I thought was a bad product. It got better and better and better and better with every single update every month, to where it's one of my favorite phones now. So I knew they were going to make a Phone 3. Everybody knew they were going to make a Phone 3, especially when they come out with an A series, right? A cheaper phone. We just didn't know when. And normally you hear leaks. So this has been kept under wraps very, very well by Carl Pei and the Nothing Company, the Nothing family. But it looks like we do now have a internal name for the device, which is Tetris. Very interesting. Tetris. Do you remember Tetris? If you're my age, I guess, upper 30s, lower 40s, probably 38 to, well, I guess anything older than probably 35, you remember Tetris. So the blocks that fall down, the little video game where you got to fit the blocks in. Interesting code name. Code names are pretty clever because sometimes it can have some resemblance to the actual device. So I think now look, the Phone 3 is going to look, I'm not going to say similar, well, I guess it will, to the Phone 2 and the 2A. Guarantee you it's going to have a clear back, see-through back, and then you'll be able to see the internal components. I think with the Tetris I think it'll be something like that, right? Some kind of block building design, see-through in the back. I'm sure it'll look cool, but we did get the code name Tetris. Now, another question was, what are the specs going to be? Because it's not like, is it a flagship? I don't want to say mid-range, because it's definitely not a mid-range phone, but it's not a flagship on the same level as the S24 Plus or the S24 Ultra, right? Plus those are, hundreds of dollars more. So I guess you could either classify it as a upper mid-range, but see, here's the thing. It has a flagship processor, the Phone 2. It was when it was launched, it just launched with a 18 or 12-month-old processor. So flagship processor. So that's what I'm saying. It teeters the line of flagship, mid-range, flagship. I lean towards flagship because it does have technically a flagship processor, and it has premium build quality. Right, the glass front and back, the aluminum aluminum frame, all the way around. It feels premium. It feels different than when holding a quote-unquote budget phone. With this is all plastic. You can tell it's heavier. It's a more premium device. So I would say it's a cheaper. We'll make our own classification. A cheap flagship. And it appears they're going to stay on those same tracks moving forward, because last week, I think I brought up the fact that I wondered what CPU they were going to use, because they're trying to introduce this device at a cheaper price than its competitors, right? Brand new. What was it brand new? Was it $699 or $599? I think it was $599 right off the bat at launch for the first few weeks, and then I think it went up to $699. I believe is what it is, right? So you're talking about $600 to $700 brand new. That's cutting the profit margins very, very thin. Hell, even these phones that sell for $1,000, profit margin very thin. But they're putting more premium components, more premium hardware inside the devices, so they can charge more for it, which helps out with the revenue coming back in. Nothing. Still has to watch. They're not putting the very best in there, meaning performance-wise, because they would have to charge more. However, maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, if you remember, out of the blue, Qualcomm released a new CPU. And we were all like, what the hell? Like, where did this come from? They already have a flagship CPU. So about 2 months ago, Qualcomm released the Snapdragon 8. A few months ago, 2 months ago, Qualcomm released the Snapdragon 8S Gen 3 CPU. And if you remember, it sounds mighty familiar to their elite, their flagship device, Qualcomm, I mean, their flagship product is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. That's what powers the Samsung Galaxy S24 series. Phenomenal CPU, really good performance, battery life's pretty good, no issues whatsoever. So we're like, wow, why did they come out with a different model of the flagship series? Well, the Nothing Phone 2 has a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. Oh, Jesus Christ, they keep on changing the names and be screwing me up. The Nothing Phone 2 has the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, which is essentially the 8 Gen 1 tweaked to certain specifications. So it's a newer upgraded form with a special tweak, right? So that's basically what this new Snapdragon CPU, the 8S Gen 3, not the 8 Gen 3, again, that's in the S24, not that one. That was released at the very beginning of the year in January, early January. Actually, it was actually launched in late December of last year, but the very first devices, Xiaomi, Samsung, for the year 2024, 8 Gen 3. It appears nothing with the Phone 3 is going to be equipped with the Snapdragon 8S Gen 3. Now, what's the difference between the 8S Gen 3 and the 8 Gen 3? I know this can be quite confusing. Well, so the Snapdragon 8S Gen 3 is a special version, a tweaked version of their flagship 8 Gen 3, right? It has lower clock speeds, so it's not spitting out as fast as possible. It's not running like a Ferrari, right? It will provide more power efficiency, and it is also geared towards artificial intelligence. Yes, that good old AI word is back. So now look, that's the dilemma with Nothing. They could go with the latest and greatest flagship, but it's going to cost you more per CPU, which means you're going to have to raise the prices on the devices. I don't think it'll kill them or just put a stop or an end to the company, but I strongly believe they cannot raise the prices. They're gonna fall into the same trap that OnePlus did years ago, and I don't want to see Nothing go down that same road. Absolutely not. If Nothing wanted to make a top tier flagship to compete against the S24 Plus, well then put out a top tier performing device. They want to have a top tier performing device at a lower cost. So this new Snapdragon 8S Gen 3 costs less to produce. So I'm assuming they're going to roll with that. So it's not, so they can still charge it's still a lot of money, right? But I think it looks like that's what they're going to do. This was the biggest question. We knew that they were going to put decent cameras on there. We knew it was going to have the LED lights. We knew it was going to have all the bells and whistles that the Nothing Phone 1 and Nothing Phone 2 had. That was and again, that was the same thing with the 2A. What CPU are they going to use? It's a very, very integral part of the decision making when producing a device. can make or break the sales of the device. And if you're a smaller company, it could make or break the company. When developing these phones, you have to make hit after hit after hit. You cannot really afford a big hiccup or a huge slump in sales because nobody wants to buy the phone, or you raise the prices so high that people would just rather have a Samsung. Like they created this niche for themselves, and they need to stay in this niche to flourish, in my opinion. That's not saying that in the future they can't come out with a $1,000 device that competes against Samsung. I'm not saying that, but where they are right now, they can't raise prices. But on nothing side, they want a strong CPU. They want it to perform, and I'm sure. Look, they're gonna fine tune it to. It's gonna be badass. I'm sure. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, especially after using this thing. They worked with MediaTek. God, they fine-tuned the CPU. I was doing some research the other day. The original version of the CPU got really bad reviews and scores online when Nothing approached MediaTek to use this, and then they basically revamped it, retweaked it, changed all the kernels, all the kernel code, everything, and overclocked it, basically turbocharged it. This phone is badass. I can't even tell it's a mid-range CPU. It performs like all my other phones for $350. If they can keep on delivering badass phones that perform well for a decent price, undercutting their competitors, it's a home run. So that's why I'm saying they have to hit on these devices. They're very, very strategic on how they piece these phones together, and we'll see. There's no leaks as far as what it looks like, but I'm sure it'll look like the others, which is fine. I love this design. See-through back. Oh man, I mean, you can't beat this. I mean, it's so pretty. Like it's a wonderful phone. So there's no way they're going away from that style. It looks too good. Now the other little pieces of info we got is, let's see, Nothing Phone 2. Okay, so look, I'm sure it's going to have a 4700 5000 milliamp per hour battery. Again, decent fast charging, 45 watts. So camera sensors, nothing yet, but hell, they could even put the same sensors they had in here and just tweak them even more, right? Or who knows? But I'm sure I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt after it was a little shaky, and I'll admit I was all aboard from day one, and a little shaky at the beginning, but man, they've delivered on the quality and updates for this phone 2 and this phone 2A. Hit this thing out of the park. Best phone you can buy for the price. Flagship performance for only $350. Can't beat that. Cannot beat that. That's if you have T-Mobile. If you have any other service provider in the US, I would not get it. But if you have T-Mobile and you're in the US, phone 2A is the phone to get. Let's see. I'm right at about an hour. I do have a couple more articles to get to, but I might have to split this up for tomorrow. I have a bunch of Crave cases that I have to review that I will upload. But let's see. There was updates on hang on one second. Give me just 1 second. All right, yeah, I'm gonna have to go here in just a minute, but I'm trying to see if there's any more news here that we can touch on real quick. And if you want to get the latest and greatest news, we have this for you here. So it's in the description box below. Techflow.news. We got this here for you. Get all your news right there. What other? I got a lot of stuff. Let's see. Let's go to the site. Is there anything else that we can touch on? I agree. The 128 gigs storage, that needs to go away. Man, that looks so nice. Look at that Pixel 9. God, that looks. I cannot wait till that comes out. I wonder what that what their color. Their of course they're gonna have black. They're gonna have white. They're gonna have blue. But I think they're gonna have a fourth color, right? Like remember the coral color for the the Pixel 7 or 7a. I wonder what their alternate color is going to be this year. So the first Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 phone has been released, the Xiaomi 15 series. And it seems, well, it doesn't seem like, but the Xiaomi 14 was just released at the beginning of this year. See how fast tech moves. They're already testing the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 inside a brand new Xiaomi 15 series device. So moving very fast here in the tech world. We'll keep an eye on that for you, obviously. Oh, the scores should be freaking awesome. I'm expecting this new Snapdragon 8 Gen 4. Look, this year was the first year that in some benchmarks, that depending on who you what benchmarking app you used, first time ever that a Snapdragon CPU, mobile CPU, scored higher on benchmark scores than the iPhone CPU, the Apple Bionic, what was it, the A16 this year? First time ever. Now, Apple's in trouble. Well, I'm probably not in trouble, but it's a little stretch. But these new PC CPUs that Snapdragon is coming out with, so Qualcomm's making a big push in the PC world. behind the scenes. They want to compete. They want to be better than. They want to be the next CPU in your computer, not AMD and not Intel. Or I guess if you have a MacBook, not the Apple, what is it, M3, M4, M5, next generation. They've set that out as a goal for Qualcomm. So internally, they're doing a huge R&D push. I guess you could say a huge R&D investment in desktop, laptop CPUs. So in benchmarking, the ones that they are just about to put out are right on par with the Apple M3 chips that were just made available, a month or two, or I think, a couple months ago, or at the beginning of the year. Very strong. Good news, very good battery life. I can't wait. I would love to get a Snapdragon powered mini PC, right? I mean, I love AMD. I'm done with Intel. I've used them for so many years, and I'm done with them. You can get better performing chip at a cheaper price with AMD. And plus, the graphics performances, assuming you don't have a external GPU. I don't have an external GPU on my mini PCs. It's all run off of the main CPU. Well, the AMD has integrated GPU in with their little chip, so that's why their graphics tend to outperform Intel's, because they do require, well, they don't require, but you're going to need an external GPU if you want to run some graphics and stuff like that. But long story short, Snapdragon is going to, this year, like really soon, in fact, I think here in the next month or two, is going to push out their first gen new desks. What do they call them? There are 8. It's like 8C. Here we go. It's the Snapdragon X Elite. Next gen Snapdragon. Here's that catchy phrase, AI again. Custom Qualcomm Orion CPU. So 12 core CPU. Yeah, these things look phenomenal. Now, pricing, I don't know, because you can get a AMD computer cheaper than a similar model Intel computer, just because the manufacturing costs are lower on the AMD side. I don't know where Snapdragon's going to be on the manufacturing side as far as cost-wise, what that means for the end user, and how it compares to a AMD chip or an Intel chip as far as price. Hoping it's obviously on the lower side, but I know they invested billions upon billions upon billions of dollars to be the next horsepower behind your computer, whether it's a desktop, whether it's a laptop, or a mini PC, which I've fallen in love with. And it's good too, because look, they will be mobile. You obviously not a desktop, but laptops, a lot of them are going to come with SIM capabilities or eSIM capabilities, so you can move around with them, right? Because they're going to implement modems in there, just like they do with the phone chips. So it'll equate for better computing all around, right? Whether you're and look, those mini PCs are good, are really good to take with you anywhere. It's a little box, carry a portable monitor, better than a laptop, outperforms it, much nicer. So I love these mini PCs. In fact, I'm gonna had another company reach out, and I think I'm gonna do some more mini PC stuff. Great option if you're looking for a computer. If you don't game, I don't game, but that's perfect, right? They're very strong, very small, and very power efficient. Much stronger than a laptop. but just as strong as a gaming PC. But again, no GPU. But that's, again, I don't play games, but it handles everything. Look, I'm live streaming for one right now. I have like 68 Chrome tabs open. I have my editing stuff open. All the stuff open, smooth as can be. Of course, I got a lot of RAM too, but it is what it is. So I gotta roll. I got stuff to do. I gotta go write an obituary. AI has to write an obituary. Trust me, my mom would be, she would be down with it. So I don't feel bad about, letting AI write. It sounds weird, right? Never thought of that, but it's actually a good idea. She would be fine with it. Trust me. She liked all this cool stuff like I did. So she would get a kick out of it. But I do appreciate it. I want to thank everybody that did reach out to me and offers support or whatever. It does mean a lot. I tried to reach out to most everybody and at least say thank you. It's hard, losing a parent. Anyways, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. And we're gonna get back on. I'm gonna be busy this rest of the week. But I'm gonna live stream every day, maybe a little earlier, like today, right? And do a morning live stream instead of afternoon. But we will continue on. We will push on, we'll see you tomorrow. How about that? So, if you need to holler at me for anything, my contact info I'll put it in the description box below, and we will see you tomorrow. Peace out.